Evolution 2025 is happening this weekend, the maddest weekend of all time, but we're nerds, man, so let's try and predict it. Let us start off with this crazy women's battle royal as well. Do not forget the winner gets a title shot at Clash of Paris, or whatever it's called. And this is where I suppose my big critique about Evolution does come in. It is such a shame this has been fast forward. Like the stuff we did on SmackDown between Tiffany Stratton and Trish Stratus was just like exposition central. They didn't even have time to say anything. A lot of what they said didn't make any sense. It was a shame that's how we built the Naomi J. Cargill build in there, because they've been doing great work for months now. I don't get it. I don't understand it. And even in the 4-person tag match, Sol Ruka and Zarya just being on SmackDown with no real build and no real shout, it just upsets me. You can point a finger at me and say, Simon, you're such a lame loser. We all know this, but that way you should expect I'm going to do these things too. But I have a list here, because there's so many people, I don't want to forget anyone, but it is Stephanie Vaquer, Ivy Nile, Nia Jax, Nikki Bella, Natalia, Maxine Dupree, Kalani Jordan, Jade Parker, Lola Vice, Lash Legend, Izzy Dame, Tatum Paxley, Zelina Vega, Julia, Candice LeRae, B-Fab, Meechin, Chelsea Green, Piper Niven, and Alba Fire. And it is a battle royal. It's not like a Royal Rumble, as I double-checked that over there. I think that is correct. Yes, it is. So some people have said, is AJ Lee going to pop up on this show? It depends. I'm in two ways about it. Like, I think because it's been a little bit rough and ready, all the preparation for this, if you were going to bring it back, I'd bring it back at somewhere like a SummerSlam. This can be a much bigger match, 2 nights and stuff like that. But at the same time, you bring it back here, so you can have a match at SummerSlam. Like if Rhea Ripley beats Io Sky or Io Sky beats Rhea Ripley, then AJ Lee walks out to confront them. That's going to be a big deal. We'll wait to the main event and we'll get to it there. I don't think that she would be in this mad battle royal. She'd have to win. You can't have AJ Lee come back. And also, I don't know how they're going to do this, but I imagine some people aren't going to get entrances, and when you do that, it always kind of makes you feel a little bit less than you actually are as a superstar. I think they're probably going to give it to Nikki Bella, if you're completely honest with you, if she's hanging around. Because if she was going to do a big match with Liv Morgan, Liv Morgan's not really a champion, but I'm trying to think, Tiffany Stratton is probably still going to be the champion, and spoiler, I think Rhea Ripley is probably going to be the champion too. They haven't really said what side of the fence they will go on, but then Tiffany Stratton versus Nikki Bella kind of ties into Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus too, in the sense that Tiffany Stratton is becoming a bit like Randy Orton 2010. As she goes on a legend killer vibe. She was a bit heelish on SmackDown. She said some very, very vicious things towards Trish Stratus. Don't know what's going on with any of that. I found it very, very peculiar and very, very strange. Otherwise, other people that could win, it could be Nia Jax, but you don't need to go back to that well. I wouldn't do Stephanie Vaquer just because I think if you're going to do something big with her, build it, man. Although I guess we do have a couple of weeks, got like a month. It could be her. It shouldn't be Julia just because she's the US champion right now. And if you watch any of my content, you know I have a massive bugbear about somebody having a singles title, then instantly going for another singles title. It ruined the tag team division. It usually ruins the championship you do have. And it's not going to be Chelsea Green as much as I do enjoy her. And everybody else on this list really is either an NXT person or they're just hanging out playing Nintendo in the background, which is a massive shame. So, Julia would be a contender. You'd have to put her in there. I think Nikki Bella too. Although Nikki Bella could be eliminated by a Nia Jax, for example, and that is something you could do at SummerSlam. I think Nikki Bella will be at SummerSlam is what I'm saying. And then Stephanie would be the other one. I think I'll go with Stephanie Vaquer just because WWE does love distraction, interference, and confusion. So if you did would it be Rhea Ripley versus Stephanie at Clash in Paris? That's no offense to Clash in Paris. I just want a bigger build to something like that. I want it to be like a WrestleMania match. I think it should be Julia versus Rhea Ripley or something like that when we get to WrestleMania next year. And that's because I want them to put all their souls, all their worth, all their money into it. So you go, oh my gosh, I can't believe we're getting this. And even if Stephanie does win here, so that would be Sunday, it's going to be around about 5 to 6 weeks, but she also has to do something at SummerSlam. It's also wishy-washy. Like, if she wins this, is she not on SummerSlam? Because Stephanie Vaquer should be on SummerSlam. Julia should be on SummerSlam. Again, Nikki Bella's probably going to be there. The rest, I can't see it, which sucks. Chelsea Green, again, not to bang that drum. So it could be somebody random. It all depends on what they see that Clash in Paris show to be. And at the moment, we don't know anything, because they didn't even talk about SmackDown. They didn't even talk about SummerSlam on last night's episode of SmackDown. So we have too much to talk about this weekend. And when we come out of this weekend, 3 weeks. 3 weeks until 2-night SummerSlam. The first one ever, so it's crazy. I'm going to go Nikki Bella. You know my prediction videos. We go for bold choices because it's more fun as long as they are grounded in reality. And of course, you can do that in the comments down there as well. So I've done it now. I've said it. Make sure you sign up to the Patreon as well. Patreon.com/Simon Miller 316. $5 gets you access to my watch-alongs. I do believe we're doing the main event all in 2023 this week, which also means means we get to watch when I was a security guard extra in the Miro Powerhouse Hobbs contract signing. Very excited. We're also getting Becky Lynch versus Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria, which I think could be the best thing on the show. It's up there. It's a contender, right? It should be an amazing match, and hopefully they get time here. That's why I'm excited about this Evolution show, even though it is all over the place. Everybody on it should get some time, and I was going to hold this off to SummerSlam. We talked about it, but let's just bring it back here. That's fine. Again, it does give us a match for SummerSlam right away. Lyra Valkyria should win, and actually this just takes away what I'm about to say, although we could change it, I suppose. But the point is, Lyra Valkyria should win, and then Becky Lynch and Bayley, for the next 3 weeks, should go hardcore, personal, mean, horrible promos to one another. I want to get nitty-gritty. I want to make it feel real. Screw titles, screw championships, screw belts. This is a personal beef, and those two should go off on each other. So we do get the SummerSlam Hot WrestleMania. This feels like a match that we want to see, that has all the nuclear energy heat in the world, and then Lyra Valkyria, being the younger of the stars, can then go and make this belt something, because this whole program has benefited that championship, and it's benefited Lyra Valkyria. She's in a much better position now than she was. That's only a massively good thing. But yes, if she does win, going back to my SummerSlam as I jump ahead of the game, she should probably either take on, to me, a Stephanie Vaquer, or she's taking on Roxanne Perez. But I don't want it to be Roxanne Perez because she's a tag team champion, and I don't want to merge belts. So given that Lyra Valkyria, I wouldn't say she's been heelish, but I wouldn't say she's been babyface. Some of the things she said to Bayley were a little bit suspect. So I think you could do this with Lyra leaning on that side, and Lyra Valkyria versus Stephanie Vaquer in a feud that you can elongate for that IC women's title is way better than just throwing Stephanie Vaquer into a random world title match. For me. But I could be wrong, so definitely go Nikki Bella there. I'm going for Lyra here. It doesn't matter if you do a wishy-washy finish either. Like, you can do the classic WWE triple threat when somebody's got the pin and somebody throws somebody else off. That's fine. Again, you can give Lyra some edge. Not AEW's Adam Copeland, he left. But Becky Lynch could probably be the person to take the pin. I actually think it's better if Bayley takes the pin. I think if Bayley takes the pin because Becky Lynch does something dumb and then she gets evacuated, it just gives Bayley a little bit more pep in her step. And then that also means come SummerSlam, I think Bayley should probably win. Do I mean that? I don't know. Yes, I think I do mean that because she's only just returned and she hasn't really had a big victory yet. It can carry on past SummerSlam as well. They can do a big stip match at Clash in Paris, which I think that crowd would totally love because the European crowds, as we know, are totally crazy. I'm very excited about this. And I don't think we need to overthink it. I don't think we need to elongate it. But I do think we need to take Becky Lynch and Bayley and turn it into a Drew McIntyre CM Punk style feud. That is what I'm talking about. That is the levels I want them to go. As long as they want to, of course. They have to make this decision. Nobody should make this decision for them. But it's all based on the back of Becky Lynch's book. If you've read it, you know how great it is. And she talks about that kind of being a bucket list goal, I suppose, to have more personal feuds like this, where it's not just, oh, it's a title, therefore we'll throw a bunch of people into a match. And that's what we've done here, while also elevating a championship that desperately needed it. That thing vanished off TV after Lyra Valkyria first won it, so I'm very excited about this. I'm not saying they are going to do that, but even then, if a Bayley won it, I think that's a positive. If Becky Lynch kept hold of it, I think she's tremendous right now. And Lyra, given that it has been such a positive step each and every single week, I don't know. I mean, the only thing we could possibly do to negate that is if she came out dressed as the gobbledygooker, and I don't think WWE in 2025 is going to decide that would be a good idea. Going with Lyra, there'll be some kind of shenanigans. It'll be good shenanigans. It's the kind of shenanigans you can access because you have the three people in the ring. But ultimately, yes, Lyra wins. Becky and Bayley, as I forget my words and turn into an AI robot, feud off by themselves. They hate each other so much, they move Lyra to one side, and Lyra's fine with that because she's a champ, and she gets into it with Steph. Jacy Jayne versus Jordan Grace is also on the show for the NXT Women's title. I believe that all the friends are going to be there. So you have Blake Monroe, and you'll have, who is it, like Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix, that's all the ones. I'm trying to remember. I think that's correct. I think they'll be all there too. Obviously, Jordan Grace and Blake Monroe. I keep wanting to call her Mariah May. I know, it's so hard, so excuse my stuttering. Went to a spa day, a secret spa day. Because Jordan Grace thought she was going to lift weights. So we're doing some of the dumb, goofy wrestling for life stuff down there. I think ultimately, probably over SummerSlam weekend, Blake Monroe, can I just call her Mariah May? Blake Monroe does not roll off the tongue. I think she will be the person to defeat Jacy Jayne. And then we will go into a big feud with Jordan Grace. And here, you could even do it that Blake Monroe accidentally on purpose stops Jordan Grace to pull that story out, because NXT, Shawn Michaels NXT loves those kind of tropes, and they are fun. At least he gives everybody characters, and they like to leave the building and go to spots like a spa, which I think makes wrestling shows feel way more entertaining and like they exist in the real world. I don't think Jacy Jayne is losing here, even though at first it felt like she was going to be a transitional champion, but only because I think Blake Monroe is going to be the person to take it off of her. And then you do Jordan versus Blake, super babyface, super heel. know they brought Blake Monroe in as a babyface, but that never made sense to me. That character's way better as a heel, especially the way she's kind of not manipulating Jordynne Grace, but it kind of feels that way. So I'll tie it into the TV, and I think, yes, Jacy Jayne gets away by the skin of her teeth. Like, all her friends are trying to help, so Blake tries to help, but Blake screws up. She's like, oh no, I didn't mean to do it. Jordynne Grace is mad, but she gets over it because they go, I don't know, have a bakery day, whatever the follow-up is going to be. Then over SummerSlam, Blake Monroe wins it. I don't know how they're going to pull that off, but we'll come up with something. She probably does something dastardly, turns on Jordynne Grace, and then you can do that feud for a few months. I can't imagine that Jordynne Grace is going to be down at NXT for much longer. So I suppose you could do it the other way around, and Jordynne Grace wins here and loses to Blake Monroe over SummerSlam weekend. You could do that, especially because Jordynne Grace will probably get called up in the draft, which is rumored to be after SummerSlam. That is interesting. Who else is... Oh, we are changing a lot of titles on this show, though, although I think... Oh, no, we're changing one majorly. Oh, man, now I've confused myself. I know, because Lyra would win. I'm keeping it on Jacy Jayne. I think we will try and elongate this as long as we can. It kind of felt to me like WWE, maybe understandably so, were a bit hurt by people. Oh, Jacy Jayne, just a transitional champion, because she did win it off Stephanie from nowhere. But I think you can do more with it. I think you can elongate it, especially because she's a tenured wrestler down there. And she deserves something. I think she's quite good, Jacy Jayne. I think she gets a bit of a hard rap from some corners of the internet. But Blake Monroe will definitely be involved in this somehow, and Jordynne Grace will lose. I just think that kind of builds it up to when Blake Monroe... You don't have to turn her right now, right? You don't need to do the heel turn here, unless you want to do it, because it's a big moment for a pay-per-view. I think we should be patient. And usually NXT, and especially Triple H, he likes to eke these things out. So I will go with Jacy Jayne. But it's going to be bloodline rules, right? It's going to be full of shenanigans. So many people are going to run in, and the referee's going to have to be spinning around with a blindfold on. But hey, man, as long as it's fun, who cares? I'm going with the Double J. You also have this big tag team match, which is Sol Ruca and Zarya taking on Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez, taking on Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, taking on Asuka and Kairi Sane. I mean, this should be pretty damn good, right? Everyone in this is amazing. I did have a bee in my bonnet that Sol Ruca and Zarya were just on SmackDown, as we've already talked about, just popped up like, oh, hi, no build, no video, no nothing. I just think the first time you put somebody on a big show, that's what you should do. Just something that I would prefer. But there's no bad workers in this match. Everyone in this is really good. They all understand their strengths. I think they understand their weaknesses too, whatever that means. My big takeaway from this is that Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss cannot win, but they cannot lose. They should be totally protected. We have something with them. They're very entertaining. They have a great chemistry together. It feels to me like Charlotte's having more fun than she's had in years. Alexa Bliss has leaned into this too, so I would try and move the proper tag team match to SummerSlam where those two win and they beat Raquel and Roxy, because I mean, I don't want the Kabuki Warriors to lose just because Asuka's just come back. I don't really want Sol Ruca and Zarya to lose either just because you're then saying, oh, the NXT guys lost. But I think they will. And I'm sure that Roxanne and Raquel can cheat, and maybe the Judgment Day on large, maybe Dominic Mysterio is there. He does something. I mean, Finn Balor would love to do it, right? He's a massive troll. But I think they will defeat Zarya and Sol Ruca. Zarya will probably take the pin, I'd imagine. You can protect them somehow, though, I'm sure. The only issue is then how do you justify not having Kabuki Warriors back at SummerSlam? I don't know. You could do a three-way, I suppose, but that kind of feels like we're just repeating it, but we knocked out a team. I just want it to be Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss taking on Raquel and Roxy at SummerSlam, and I want Charlotte and Alexa to win as the allies of convenience, which is the stupidest term anybody has ever come up with. I just think we've stumbled onto something here, and listen, there is no positive to anybody getting injured, but Liv Morgan having to go away has made WWE go, oh, we need to do something with the women's tag team belts, and once again, they're in a pretty decent position, and I suppose if you can do something with Asuka and Kairi Sane through SummerSlam weekend, you could probably even somehow, if Io Sky loses here, do Asuka versus Io, because we did tease that a few weeks ago for Queen of the Ring. But the Kabuki Warriors can be the first opponents for Charlotte and Alexa once we come out of SummerSlam. I think there is something to all of that, and I would personally enjoy it. But we just stumbled across gold. I don't know who came up with this idea. I guess it kind of felt like Charlotte was in no man's land. Alexa Bliss had just come back. We're trying to find a place for her. Push your hands together, but they should be the champions. And actually, this is saying a lot for WWE, you can probably do the whole can they coexist storyline without it feeling a little bit stupid, because most teams, apart from Austin Theory and Grayson Waller, kind of united. As long as you keep it on the fun side of things, don't try and make it too stereotypical. But yes, I think that Roxanne and Raquel need to retain, especially because otherwise, well, if Roxanne cost them, I suppose it shows she wasn't worthy, which was the Star rules we put on this. But I think it's better if Judgment Day at least have a few weeks with all their belts, being like, oh my gosh, we're back together again. Because the Judgment Day goes like this, and it really is becoming one of the best groups of all time. And now it's up here again, so we should ride that out until Hot WrestleMania. And then I'd do Charlotte and Alexa versus these two, and then finally Charlotte and Alexa can win. You can do some rematches with Raquel and Roxy. That probably ties into the eventual breakup or switcheroo we are going to do the Judgment Day. I like this match a lot. It's just a shame we didn't have more time time to cook. Jade Cargill versus Naomi, no holds barred, is also on this. Man, am I pumped. I think in terms of anticipation, this is my number one. Naomi's new character is hilarious. Jade Cargill is just, there's just something about these two together that works. And Jade Cargill's my new best friend. Joke, I'm kidding. I'm not being serious. You've seen my social media craziness, you know what I'm talking about. It just made me laugh. But again, it was why I was so annoyed on SmackDown, where they just ran out and had a bit of a brawl. We could have done so much more with them. Where's my crazy promos? Where's them yelling at each other? They're just, both of those people are flying right now. I love that flipping feud. And actually, I think this one is pretty simple. Could be totally wrong. Jade Cargill should win. She should murder Naomi. Naomi should be written off TV for 3 weeks. Shouldn't see anything. We then moved into Tiffany Stratton versus Jade Cargill because Jade Cargill won the Queen of the Ring. Jade Cargill should defeat Tiffany Stratton at SummerSlam. Well, that ruins my Clash at the Paris plans for Nikki Bella. Well, what are you going to do? But then Naomi should run out and she should cost the title from Jade with the cash in, basically. It was a weird way to phrase that, a weird sentence structure there. But that's what we should do. I think it's perfect. You can then actually do Jade versus Naomi in a world title program, which I would enjoy. But then, yeah, Nikki Bella would take on Rhea Ripley, which you probably could do, because when else are you going to do it? Isn't it fun watching my videos as I change tact halfway through? I wrote my answers down over there. And I'm still second-guessing myself. I think this is going to be awesome. I think given that Jade Cargill was written off when she was thrown through a car, window shield, whatever you want to call it, this is probably going to be pretty nuts. It really could stand out on this show because it's quite varied, all things considered. But we don't have anything that's too over the top or too nuts. Let them be those people, especially with Naomi's new gimmick, which I just think is a laugh riot. On social media this week, she had a picture of Dynamite, which was going to blow up Jade Cargill. Some people said, oh, I don't like it. She's gone, I wouldn't even call it comedy, but just, well, insane. I think it's great. I think Jade Cargill is leaning into it brilliantly. I really enjoy these two together. And I think in order to carry it on, yes, just do all those things, get to SummerSlam. Maybe Jade Cargill doesn't even win. Maybe Naomi just runs down and pulls a Seth Rollins and turns it into a triple threat match. I just think that would be a really cool thing to do. And some people have said, well, what if Seth Rollins cashes in that weekend too? So what, man? We'll see how it plays out. And if I told you that Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson were going to debut within 10 minutes each other at AEW show, you'd be like, shut up, you Reddit moron. But it happened and it was awesome. And people still cite that as their favorite AEW moment ever. So we can do two, right? As long as the plan makes sense and the story makes sense, you can do whatever you want. Jade Cargill's going to win here, but ultimately she's going to lose the war. And yes, Tiffany Stratton versus Trish Stratus. I will regret this, and I look forward to it being clipped and sent back at me till the cows come home. I don't think there's any chance that Trish Stratus can win, right? Now, I wouldn't mind it per se. It then would be Trish Stratus versus Jade Cargill, which you could do. I just think WWE has way too much invested in Tiffany Stratton, and 9 times out of 10, when you have got a young star, and she is still pretty young, still pretty inexperienced in many ways in terms of how long she's been in the business years-wise, but they usually go out of their way to protect them, right? And they often lose to legends. In fact, WWE's treatment of legends over the last sort of 20 years in general hasn't been great. But I think this should be more about a passing of a torch. And Trish Stratus doesn't need to win it. Trish Stratus probably isn't going to be around for long after this. She'll probably still come and go. She's still very, very good. And it's a shame that she can't do more now because I think she'd remind people how talented she is. She's still only 49 years old. I think that's correct. Does not look 49 either, which does make a difference on TV, sadly. But yes, I just think give them however long you want. I don't think you need to tease any cash-ins here because Naomi would have been murdered before this match. But give them 10 to 15 minutes. Let them show out. Let them do some stuff. Tiffany may work heel, I suppose. I don't know. But it should be a very simple, she gets the better of her. She's the younger star. The veteran makes a mistake because of whatever, ring rust. PME, 1, 2, 3, big hug, big shake, big raise the title together. And then that just endorses Tiffany Stratton, which is going to make her more popular. I like the fact we're doing it. I don't necessarily know if I'd call it a dream match, but it's in that ilk, right? It's heading in that direction. I think there's probably people on the roster that I'd like to see Trish Stratus fight more, just because they're more experienced performers. I don't know if that's true. Maybe that's absolute nonsense. You know what? Take it back. But I get it, and I understand why WWE is promoting it in that ilk. But it should be super simple, to the point there really is much to say about it. But Tiffany Stratton will win with a 99.9% certainty by me, Simon Miller. And you've seen my predictions before. It's probably going to go bad. Which means we end with Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley. And again, this could be the best match on the show. Two exceptionally talented performers. I think on SmackDown, Joe Tessitore called them two of the best wrestlers in the world. I think that could have been Wade Barrett, actually. Absolutely an argument. Again, Rhea Ripley's a super duper whooper star, just connects. Io Sky has built this popularity, massive in Japan. And then came over here and sort of after year and year and year of just awesome performances. Everybody got on board. board. I think given this is going to be the main event and because you want a big title change on a show like this that you're trying to make historic, whether you're doing a good job or not, I think Rhea Ripley has to win, and I think that's totally fine. Some idiots will melt down on the internet, but, you know, she lost whenever that match was after the Royal Rumble, whenever the flub, when nobody thought that Rhea Ripley was going to lose, when Io Sky challenged her. That then led to the three-way, which Io Sky won again. WWE dropped the ball after that because we did nothing with Io Sky and her championship, which was so damn weird. But that's also okay. Like, it's not like she feels like a joke or anything like that. Just a bit persona non grata. So you get to this, it's been built up well. The story is, oh, Rhea can't beat Io, Rhea can't beat Io. This is the time to do it. She can beat her. You could do a rematch at SummerSlam should you so wish. Don't think you need to. They can kind of celebrate with each other afterwards too. I don't think either one needs to go heel. I think that would be crazy. But I just think, to repeat myself from earlier, let them show out. Give them 15 minutes plus. Rhea Ripley has had incredible matches on a stage like this with Charlotte Flair, for example. Io Sky has done the same. Remember WrestleMania 40 with Bayley? Nobody talks about that. So make sure they have the same kind of conditions, the same kind of environment. Give them that free will. And I think it will be awesome. And I bet before that night 2 WrestleMania 3-way, no one would have gone, this is going to be not only one of the... Well, I think people would have thought it could have been one of the best matches of the weekend, but not one of the best opening matches of all time. And that's more shame on us. We need to give these people more credence for what they have done in the past. But yes, I think this should just be what I miss about wrestling sometimes. 2 people fighting for a championship. Maybe one sips on a banana peel, not in a bad way, but like if you're playing tennis and you hit a bad shot, like, oh no, Io should do something like that. Maybe goes for her moonsault and not slips literally, but does something like, oh, what did I do that for? Rhea Ripley recovers, Riptide, 1, 2, 3, big pop, big cheer from the crowd. And then, yeah, we just shuffle up the deck a little bit, and then moving into SummerSlam is difficult. I mean, you could do Nikki Bella versus Rhea Ripley at Clash in Paris. I think there's an element of a dream match to that. Is kind of like the past meeting the present and the future all coming together too. You could do it with Io Sky as well, but I just think Rhea Ripley is going to win. I think it's the time. We talked about this recently when we talked about the whole Jon Moxley-Chris Jericho match from years and years ago, where Chris Jericho was the first AEW World Champion, and he could have held that belt for a lot longer, but it was like the Lion King, man. There was just something in the air tonight, and it was the right thing to do. And we did do it, and you know, ever since then, Jon Moxley has gone on to become this bizarre, whatever the right word is. Well, I say bizarre because he is a cornerstone of AEW, and some people don't like him. But, you know, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a villain. So, yeah, we should do the same with Rhea Ripley. It just feels like the right time. So let's feel it in the right way, which is a stupid thing to say. And she's going to win. She's going to be a new champion. And I just think, given it's the second one of these shows, and again, it's meant to be this big deal, it's a great way to close it. Confetti, cheering. Io being happy for her so-friend, but not really. Rhea's finally taken down Io Sky. Then we kind of reset things for Raw, and we move on to SummerSlam, which will be happening in 3 weeks. Now, more important than all of this is your predictions, so make sure you leave them in the comments below. You can say anything you want as long as it's grounded in reality, and don't be mean either. There's nothing wrong with that. Like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the video on the screen, which is my predictions for All In, if you want to get them in before it starts today. Probably should put a different video up. Let's see what's going to happen. Like, share video, all that kind of stuff. Subscribe, watch bell, whatever it's called, notification. Patreon.com/Simon316, GorillaMind.com/Simon. Go get 10% off the best fitness supplements on the planet. Simon J. Miller at TikTok. That's right, Simon Miller on Cameo, video messages, Simon316 on social media. Big Cartel, Pro Wrestling Tees. I'm just doing too many videos this weekend. This is rated number 4, and it's only 12 p.m. on Saturday. I have so many more to make. Damn you, wrestling companies. But also, isn't it a joy? Yes, it is. See you soon.